32GB of RAM and 1TB of storage. I've reviewed a couple of these AM02 products and they absolutely nailed with the presentation, where you had always like this cheap feel when it comes to the packaging and horrible toilet paper manuals. We don't have this with AM02 at all. Good explanation how everything works with visualized pictures. Everything is very nicely done with so far every product I've got from them. So also the packaging, you can see I have different boxes in the inside, and here we will find all the attachments. Think about the cables for connecting the power supply, but also when it comes to the adapters, they think about everything that you're needing for assembly, but also when you need to upgrading and everything, you can just do it fairly easy with a Neo. Everything comes inside the box itself. The overall quality of the box is absolutely great, and inside the package you'll find everything that we're going to be needing for hooking this thing up. The power supplies, that is something unique to the AM02, because it doesn't matter if you're having a PC or most of the mini PCs or a handheld Windows based, they all have the same kind of power supplies. And I do like them, they're very nice quality. So here you see that we're having two inputs and we're having different kind of voltages going on, but we need to use the USB-C because that's the one giving us a 100 max that we're going to be needing for this mini PC. So you can just click it open, plug it in, or get yourself an adapter. The adapter, okay, okay, the adapter doesn't be clicked on. You need to slide this thing back into the machine or the power supply and you can just plug it in. But later on we'll check it out. So I really love this, like say, NES look vibe going on. And underneath we have this cover covering up the two USB ports, the Type-C and the port itself, but it doesn't open up all the way. So you need to be very careful that you're not going to be breaking it off. Of course you can press the button for opening it up or use it manually. I will not say recommend it, just use the button. It's a kind of very cool thing, but yeah, it's not very convenient. And then of course we're having the on and off switch. At the back we're finding only two USB ports, and display HDMI to RJ45 and then USB-C. And I don't really understand why they are going to be this configuration of twice the RJ45, simply because we don't have enough ports on this machine itself. Of course we can use an hub, but yeah, that is one of the complaints I'm having. But let's remove the screen protector and show you what this thing can actually do when it comes to the second display itself. What's kind of cool that it will display how much TDP it will pulse from the, let's say, machine itself, also the temperatures and everything, and you can even touch it and just change it out. A very cool feature. The first thing that we're actually going to be doing is plugging in the internet and updating the software itself, because that is something that we're going to need to do. Even make a review, it's always necessary to get the latest like application updates. Okay, this is going to be taking forever. Alright, so after trying a couple of times to update it, now we're finally having the sub screen like they mentioned in the manual. Yeah, for once I read the manual. So in here we're having different kind of options, minimalism and simplicity when it comes to like the extra display. So here we can change out all kinds of cool things. We can sync, can refresh the weather and position. We even put the Celsius to Fahrenheit if you want to. It's kind of interesting. And you have the option for firmware update. But this seems to be all working, and also the display is finally working because it did boot up, but again it didn't get anything when it comes to information displaying. But let's take a close look at the AM02 AM02. And this is actually one of those, let's say, mini PCs that I do love when it comes to the specs. The AMD Ryzen 7 7840HS is an absolutely great overall, let's say CPU, GPU or chip. The codename Phoenix with 45 watts of DDP, socket FP7, and it is technology 4 nanometers. So when it comes to the memory, in total having 32GB DDR5, they're divided over 2 slots. So that's great to have dual channel. Yeah, and the graphics, here we're having the AMD Radeon 780M graphics. So when it comes to the specs, these things are quite nice, but let's do some testing. But when it comes to the older games, this runs perfectly on there. So next up, let's take a close look at the specifications, putting this thing on full HD. Actually, we're going to play every game on full HD, but we're going to be cranking everything up to the highest graphics, just to see how far we can push it. We don't need to have any extra effect. Okay, so let's go back and let's implement this and let's start the game.
I shall grind beneath my heel all that exists. Violence is who I am. Are you ready? Fight! Hadouken! Hadouken!
Okay, so let's start off with some Crash Bandicoot. So what I've noticed when actually playing this game, you can just see that the FPS counter doesn't do anything. It's kind of annoying, so what I'm going to be doing is like shutting down the AM02 space at this point, switching to OBS and configure that. Because all the other specifications seem to be working just fine. You can see the temperatures going to 70 Celsius when it comes to the AMD, and 780M is around 65, but when you're looking at the FPS, it's stuck on 50. So yeah, I've been noticing this a lot when it comes to this piece of software. So, and overall I don't like it, so let's switch.
Let's go.
Let's get this party started!
Fight!
So when you're looking at a couple of older games, fighting games in particular, because I just love those things, but there are so many games that run absolutely amazing on this machine, and that is where I find it really cool that the AM02 is utilizing the 7000 series AMD Ryzen chipset.
Now, the noble wolves carve their souls into their swords.
So, you dare to defy me?
So, you're still floundering, mortal.
Battle 1.
Fight!
Not worthy.
Get ready!
Alright, so when you're looking at, let's say, some gaming, you will notice that some of the games, particularly the last one that we've tested, is almost hitting the 100%, let's say, GPU usage. And I think there will be the overall bottleneck. Take consideration, if you're going to be hitting up the latest games, you need to lower the graphical, let's say, specs, for example, to low or medium, or even combine this with low resolution to get overall good performance with this. So for AAA gaming, like the latest titles, it will perform okay, but I think for me it's going to be mostly using older games that run 100% on full HD with high specifications. It's absolutely amazing to see how far AMD has come when it comes to the CPU-GPU combination. The conclusion is that it's absolutely a piece of artwork when it comes to the case, but also the second display. Upgradability, found it kind of disappointing, missing out some USB ports, but the overall performance is quite nice. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, and it would be great to see you in the next video.